Welcome. Today we're talking with John Hardesty, General Manager, Mortgage Division at Argyle. John, welcome, and thank you for joining us at Credit Union Digest.
Yeah, thanks, Larry. Happy to be here.
Great. All right, well, let's get started. So, John, maybe start off with what is Argyle? How does it work? And what are the data sources?
Yeah, that's a great question. Argyle is a verification of income and employment platform. And what we do is we connect directly into payroll systems. The traditional process for verifying income and employment has been lenders or credit unions grabbing credit bureau data. What we've brought to market is a way for the member to connect directly into their payroll platform. And then what we do is we grab that data for their permission and ship it back to the credit union. And we cover verification of income and employment, as well as direct source documentation. So pay stubs, W-2s, et cetera, really bringing an efficient process back to the credit union.
Great. Thank you. That's very helpful. So how would a credit union actually use Argyle's verification services?
Yeah. So depending on the credit union's process, whether they're typically verifying more at the top of the origination journey with a loan officer or right before it goes into underwriting, can be used in a variety of different situations or processes. We have lots of clients that order us directly right before underwriting, more towards the processors. But in this market, very much a speed to lead game. We've seen credit unions bring us up the funnel to their loan officers, so they're not chasing around for documents of their members. So it can kind of get flexible, Larry, with where we sit in the process, but both ways, wherever they want to verify income and employment, we can adapt to fit their business model.
Great. Thank you. That's helpful. So, given that adapting to the various, places where the credit union might want this to intersect their process, how does Argyle fit into the credit union's tech stack?
Yeah. The tip again, going back to the typical use case, is certainly not typical. We see some of our credit unions initializing us in the point of sale. So as the members going through that 1003 application, our Argyle instance, which is prompting them to log into their payroll system, is initialized right at the top of the funnel. On the other hand, some, especially in this market, some credit unions like to get a sense of the member's portfolio before initializing a verification. And we sit in the loan origination system in more of a click to order, where they're saying initiate Argyle, an email or text goes out to the member. Once they connect into their payroll accounts, we ship the data and documentation that I mentioned earlier right back into the loan origination system. So again, there's no typical use case, but those are the two most common in terms of technology ecosystem where Argyle fits in.
Great. Thank you. That's really good that it's flexible and can interact with the process at different points. So, given that, what would be the deployment impact duration that a credit union could expect if they decided to go with Argyle?
Yeah, depending on the manner in which they want to initialize our experience. So I talked about in the point of sale or in the LOS system, we connect into Encompass LOS. We're working with the Black Knight Empower, Simple Nexus point of sale, variety of different ways you can initialize our experience. But in those cases, it's a simple API key. The connection, the API integration is set then, and then we train you on how to best initialize our experience. We also offer what we call our no code console, or our platform experience. And that is a buy today, turn on tomorrow, start doing verifications. Very easy platform that sits outside of your operating system. But we see that as, again, going back into this market when people were looking for an alternative. Hey, you want to get going tomorrow, start with our platform. Has all the same functionality that it does in our API-driven experience, but start immediately. And we have lots of credit unions that have taken that route in the early innings of here at Argyle.
Great. Again, wonderful that you have all those different ways that a credit union can get started with you. That's wonderful. So, lastly, credit unions have been using Argyle for a long time. So, what are the benefits that a credit union would expect to experience from using Argyle?
Yeah, again, great question. I'd like to answer that one. First on the cost savings, I mentioned the traditional methods that have been around the industry for years. At this point, are extremely expensive. And because we've taken the programmatic approach to doing this, Larry,
Hmm.
we can be 80% cheaper than what the traditional methods are currently charging. So in this environment, as credit unions are looking at their P&L, there's a cost savings opportunity with Argo. But I like to take it a step further and talk about the borrower experience. And when you ask a borrower to, hey, go give me your last two pay stubs and your W-2s, you're asking them to pay to log into their payroll system. Initialize Argyle, the member experience is better because they log in one time, all of that's done. There's no chasing or running around. So there's the borrower experience. And then the last thing is just the overall time to close. I mean, we're talking direct source data, not touched, not resold. And from a credit union's confidence in lending, we give them the confidence that it's accurate, it's from the source to make informed, accurate, and quick lending decisions. So across all three of those, our credit unions are experiencing, some really good gains both on efficiency and cost savings.
Great, great. John, thank you for spending time with Credit Union Digest and sharing with us the workings of Argyle's automated income and employment verification process, as well as the associated benefits that a credit union can expect. So again, thank you very much.
Yeah, Larry, thanks for having me on. Enjoyed talking with you today.
Great, enjoyed it too. So in closing, thank you for joining Credit Union Digest. If you have additional questions for John, please see the link in his bio.